YouTube. Thank you for coming to my next live stream. I am really happy to be here, and I hope everyone who watches live or who watch later is having a wonderful day, and hopefully you've had time to relax and do something you enjoy, or you've had time to hang out with some friends or with your family, and I just hope you're having an excellent day wherever you are. So I've really enjoyed doing a bunch of streams this week, and the one I have planned for today is not as outrageous as the past two with our best friend Carl over at Beachbody/Body, but this one is more educational, which is also fun to do. So this is about a video on the Netready YouTube channel where we're going to learn all about MLM registration packs. And oh, Rich came in. Hi, Rich. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Gary. Thank you for coming. And Netready, if you don't remember, is an MLM consulting firm in South Africa that helps MLM CEOs and business owners develop their MLM businesses. And this is an podcast called MLM for CEOs, geared towards those individuals who either already own a business or who want to open an MLM business. And I suggest everyone go and subscribe to their channel so you can follow their content. It's very interesting. Lit Panic says, Heather, don't work too hard on your vacation. You have time freedom. Yes, good point. Yep. I actually haven't been working that hard on these streams. Usually when I find these videos, I'll listen to it like all day at work that same day that I'm doing a video. But this one I listened to like 1.5 times. I'm just coming across stuff I like and then like just listening to it once or twice instead of like 20 times. So I'm not working too hard. Okay. I'm ready to get started. I'm really excited for this video, and I hope you guys also find it interesting. I'm just going to share my screen. There you go. Yay. And then I like this. Okay. Really excited. Remember, this is their MLM for CEOs podcast.
Right, and we are live. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Stuart from Netready, and this is MLM for CEOs, the channel that is aimed at providing key insights to company owners operating within the multi-level marketing space. In today's episode, we're going to be speaking about registration packs and all the information about why you should be setting registration packs, how you should be building them, and all the information, the intricacies that come with it. To unpack all that information,
so we know that registration starter packs, it's just whenever you start in an MLM, you have to buy some kind of pack, or in the Beachbody context, you just pay a certain amount to join, and then you don't need to buy a pack, but the majority of the time you do buy a pack. So I'm seeing again that like the video isn't moving on my end. So we're just going to listen to that intro again, and hopefully it works properly, because I had this exact same issue yesterday as well.
Wow, that's a lot of information. He's a good friend of mine. He's also a mentor of mine. He's got over 35 years experience within the multi-level marketing space.
Okay. Something weird is happening on my end. I'm sorry. We're going to try again.
Right, and we are live. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us. I'm Stuart from Netready, and this is MLM for CEOs, the channel that is aimed at providing key insights to company owners operating within the multi-level marketing space. In today's episode, we're going to be speaking about registration packs and all the information about why you should be setting registration packs, how you should be building them, and all the information, the intricacies that come with it. To unpack all that information, wow, that's a lot of information, is a good friend of mine. He's also a mentor of mine. He's got over 30.
Thank you, Lift Panic. Yeah, on my end, like on my StreamYard screen, it was like completely frozen. And this exact same thing happened yesterday too, where it looked like nothing was happening. And then I just like started it over and then it was fine. But I'm glad it looks good for you.
5 years experience within the multi-level marketing space. And he is an authority within the industry. Mr. Richard Sletcher.
Thank you.
Maybe we should get some new guests in the future.
Okay.
I mean, it's just us all
Who
the
am I
time.
going to replace you with?
I- Very nice. Very nice. But who's going to be the host? I mean, there has to be
No, I think we should get Kirsten in here.
We should.
She, especially on the operations side of the business, when we get to that, she'd be absolutely a valuable asset to talk to.
She's epic.
Yeah.
She runs our business, our Netready business.
That's amazing. Yeah.
She's well done. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to go into registration facts. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm the host. Okay. So let's talk about registration facts. I get this question quite often from company owners, and they say, how should we be setting this? What should we be including in this? So let's just talk about and dive into what a registration pack actually is.
Okay, so from my perspective, one of the things you want to do is you want to put tools into the hands of your network.
Mm-hmm.
And what you want them to have is you want them to have product. So you want to get product into their hands. You want to have the documentation, which is brochures and posters or coffee shop presentations,
right.
All of that kind of stuff you want to get into their hands. You might want to give them some sort of paraphernalia to identify themselves as part of your company. Maybe they wear a T-shirt, or maybe there's a badge that they put on with your company's name in and their rank. Make it kind of official. You might want to give them business cards. There might be a mechanism where you want to give them business cards or whatever. So the issue is that stuff.
So I just wanted him to talk about everything that he thinks needs to go into a registration pack. An interesting point that my husband made a while ago is if you were to work in a different industry other than MLM, you are going to get what you need to do your job for free. I'm thinking about when I've started a new job. The only thing I've ever had to purchase on my own is like if I don't have proper like office clothing, I might go out and buy like a couple shirts or like some dress shoes and everything just so I look professional. But then the actual materials I need to do my job, let's say a computer, notebooks, pens, maybe a calculator if I'm doing budgeting things. What else? A stapler, post-it notes, highlighters, right? Like I'm not required to go out and purchase all of that stuff myself. That is provided to me by the company. When I worked from home during COVID, we were all provided with laptops. Like I didn't have to go out and purchase a laptop. And so in this case, in the MLM context, we're required to buy into this business, and in exchange, we're getting the basic materials and supplies that we should already have access to in order to do our job. Sorry, I can't talk.
Pack or that registration pack, whatever you want to call it, is their toolkit to go out and sell your products. Now, a lot of companies, what they do is they get scared.
So he just said it's our toolkit to go out and sell the product. Remember that when he goes into talking about other reasons why companies need to have registration packs and why they need to be pricey.
To charge for the toolkit. And they think, well, we'll just sign people up for free.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a couple of problems that happen with that. Number one, you sign them up for free. People who pay nothing think that it is worth
nothing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So if it costs you nothing, it's worth nothing. So their commitment to it is zero. And so that's the first reason I don't like to give away membership for free.
So I'll bring in the example of if I had to receive a free event ticket.
Sorry, I should have stopped before. If you were to receive a free event ticket, that's what we're going to jump into. So if we give away memberships for free, that means that no one's going to be committed, because if it's free, then we don't have any skin in the game, and we don't have like a punishment. That's not really what I'm thinking of. Like we're not going to receive any kind of negative consequence as a result of us not participating in our business. I think that's what he's trying to get at. So if Panic says a regular commission salesperson doesn't have to buy his own samples, does he? I would assume no. Like I'm not sure. Like I would assume that a salesperson like would be able to access the like resources and the training that they need for free. And if they are selling like smaller products, that they would be able to like use the products and learn how to talk about them through using it themselves. I wouldn't imagine that someone would have to buy the products in order to use them and then potentially sell them down the road. But if anyone else is a salesperson in sales, let us know down below if you have had to buy your own products to sell. That's a really good point.
On the nights the event's happening, maybe I'll go. Nothing gained, nothing lost, because I got it for free. But if I paid for that ticket, I certainly will be sitting in my seats.
Especially if it was expensive.
Sure.
So let's just say, and that's a prime example. Let's say you can go to a concert, rock concert. You get a free ticket to the rock concert. Maybe you go, maybe you don't. The ticket cost you $150.
Sure.
You are there for sure.
I'm there.
Because that...
For me personally, I'm not automatically there for sure. Like, what if I like get sick, or what if like something comes up and it's like my best friend is having like a really amazing big event going on that I want to be at, or like if I just decide I don't want to go, like I'm not going to force myself to go just because I purchased a ticket, although I do understand where they're coming from with that.
Value that the perceived value of that concert through the roof.
Right.
You know? So you can have a situation, and I've seen videos, a guy like Ed Sheeran playing at a local fair before he became famous, playing at the local fair. There was nobody out the front of him. Behind the stage, there were more people standing behind the stage than in front of the stage. And Ed Sheeran is like really good. And I listened to the music, and the music was really good. And I thought, wow, what happened? The next picture they show you is Ed Sheeran at one of his concerts where people are paying hundreds of dollars for a ticket. Packed.
Right.
Everybody at the front of the stage watching.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what's the difference? The difference wasn't the product. Ed Sheeran was still Ed Sheeran. The difference was now people had paid big money to come and see him. He had some level of fame, and they were absolutely there. So when people buy into...
Say if you're a big Ed Sheeran fan and you buy a ticket for $300 and then you have to like sell off your ticket to someone, or say you just give it away to a friend, like if you're a big Ed Sheeran fan and you get a free Ed Sheeran ticket, like you're going to go either way, of course, if you love the artist. And he's making it seem like people are going to Ed Sheeran because they had to invest a lot of money into the ticket. And that's not true. You literally said before he was famous and his shows were free, people didn't go to his shows because no one knew who he was. Now his shows are worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars because he's famous across the world. And of course, people are going to go to his shows. So I see the point he's trying to make, but I think it's completely invalid because he's ignoring Ed Sheeran is now a celebrity. Duh.
To something, it definitely creates a lot more credibility and a lot more value, perceived value, in whatever it is you are getting them to buy into.
That's beautiful. I love that. Yes, well done.
You can stay.
Thank you so much. I didn't even say it. Okay, so you're going on to the next point there that you wanted to make on yes, one, we have to charge people, and that's one of the questions I wanted to ask. But you've identified why we need to charge people for these registration packs. You're going to the next
second
one?
thing is that
why we need to charge people for the privilege and the honor of selling our products and recruiting others to sell the products and recruit others. Like we're literally paying these companies in order for us to work for them.
When you charge them, it provides you with some cash flow. So as a company, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to actually generate some cash flow. And the third thing that for me is a big issue is that if I join a company and I pay, what I'm doing is I'm saying, here, I'm paying you X amount of dollars to be part of this company, and I'm giving you permission to train me. I'm now paying you to train me. And so the chances of me doing the training are high because I just paid you. And so the issue...
So he's talking about these, it's so important to charge for these packs because it brings up a cash flow for the company. And yeah, you're right, sir. Like companies turn into MLMs or choose the MLM business model because they know that their sales are not very strong and that they need a guaranteed customer force, and that customer force are your distributors. And MLM CEOs make their money through like registration packs, like you just said, and personal volume requirements. And I wonder if we actually did a study on the number of true customers in these businesses not connected to the downlines, how many customers these massive MLM companies would actually have. Second, we're paying into the system because we're paying our employers to train us. So in what world have you had to pay your employer to provide you with basic training? Even if it's more specialized training, a lot of offices, a lot of companies do have budgets for professional development or personal development through like LinkedIn Learning or conferences where they could send you away, like send you to a different city for more specialized, specific training. I've never had to pay for basic training or specialized training before, and that kind of concept is like crazy to me, and I don't really understand why we have to pay our employers for training. Rich says sunk cost fallacy for the victim. Yeah, yeah, like they want to charge high amounts for these registration kits because then people are more likely to stay in the company. Yes, MLM training is generally pretty worthless. Yeah, yep, you're right. Like we've seen lots of training on this channel and other channels across YouTube, and the vast majority of it is focused on personal development and mindset and motivation. And for a while on my channel, I was really trying to seek out specifically Beachbody training that gave actual tactical, tangible tips and advice, and it was pretty hard to find that kind of training.
Is here when you charge somebody for the opportunity, part of what you should be selling them or telling them is that when you pay this money, one of the big things we're going to do is we're going to teach you how this business works. We're going to teach you how to sell the products, how to use the company tools, how to get people to come along and take a look at the business. And all of that training is part of what you're paying for. Mm-hmm. Then if you don't do the training, well, that's your problem. You've paid for it. But if we don't do the training to you, then we are really crazy because somebody's actually said to you, here's money, indoctrinate me on your business. That's what training is. It's a form of indoctrination. Yes. Teach me everything that I need to know about the business. Tell me why these are the best products in the world, why this is the best business in the world. Lock my belief in, please, here's some money to do it. So not only are you getting the person, you're getting...
Ooh, so we need to train people. We need to pay our MLM CEOs in order to indoctrinate us into the business. So I'm just going to read Liv Panic's comment here, and then I'm going to talk about that. I worked for Canadian government, and they were required to provide some kind of employee training enrichment annually. We usually got a lunch out of the bargain, too. Yeah, that's fantastic. Like, most companies have some kind of budget for that stuff, and maybe they'll even have like a schedule of opportunities for their employees that they have budget to provide, and it's free. Like you shouldn't have to pay your employer to provide you with basic training. So he just said training is indoctrination. Have you ever heard that kind of wording before? That's pretty shocking to me. In what world is receiving training from your employer indoctrination? I'm thinking back of like the times I started new jobs and I would just get handed like annual reports. I'd be told to go to the website. I'd be told to do research in my focus area. And it would just be like the first week might just be like constant reading and catching up on what the company does. I've never thought of training as indoctrination, but he's saying the quiet part out loud here. And yes, MLM training is a form of indoctrination because they want us all to act, behave, and think in the exact same way. And we can't be negative. We can't question anything, or else we're not serious about our business and we don't want to change our lives.
The tools into their hand. You're also getting them to commit to the training by paying you for it, and you're generating cash flow for the company. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, I'm not a great believer in giving the membership out free. I'm not a great believer in giving the membership out cheap. Mm. And you'll see, you can sell the product, you can sell the membership at, let's say, 1,000 rands, okay, or $100, let's say. You can sell that same membership at $10. And I promise you, you're not going to see any extra people joining. The only difference is you don't make any money at $10 and you don't have any commitment at $10. And those people don't put any value in the opportunity at $10.
Right.
And we've done this. We've had an opportunity where we've sold it at 1,000 rand in South African money, given them a whole pile of product, etc. We've then sold it at 99 rand, and we saw no additional uptake in membership at all.
Right.
It made zero difference to the number of people joining, but what it made a massive difference to was our financial situation.
Sure.
Because 90.
Do you guys remember Beachbody coaches saying things like, well, of course people quit because it's only $160. They have no skin in the game. When I started my business, I spent $100,000 and I put myself into debt. And of course, I would never quit that. And so this person is saying that we have to charge significant amounts so people actually stay in. And then Beachbody coaches sit there and say that, like, of course people quit because they only have to spend $100, which for a lot of people, $100 is a lot of money, and many people don't have $100 just sitting around in their budget that's not allocated to a specific budget line. So Kenzie said something here. Let's see. One of my biggest complaints after joining an MLM was not learning about the products. They're like self-improvement, but I was a great salesperson. I needed classes on the product itself. Interesting. Yeah, like you already had the ability to like communicate well with people. If you were a great salesperson, you were probably outgoing and extroverted, right? And really confident, or at least you appeared confident, but you needed guidance on like the ingredients in the products and how to talk about the products and how to recommend them. That's interesting. So do you think you did not get training on the product itself, or was it all focusing on, like you said, self-improvement over the product? That's a cool point.
9 rand, people are not committed, they're not getting the products, they're not getting the tools, and then they don't go out. They pay their 99 rand. It's such a small amount of money that they don't care. That's the end of it. You lose them. You lose them for want of value.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm of the opinion that even in a place like South Africa, where we've got a phenomenally poor country,
yes,
that when you sign people up into a business like that, you need to charge them for the opportunity. Okay. They need to commit to it. And
so he just said South Africa is a poor country, but we still need to charge them for the opportunity, even though he would know that if I don't know anything about South Africa or its poverty rate, but if it's a poor country, people don't have money to spend on an MLM business. So that's very, very predatory. Exactly. I had zero product training. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, because in MLMs, products don't really matter, right? So weird.
You're better off having 10 committed people than 100 people who don't care. It's just an opinion.
You spoke about company tools earlier. So when you've charged someone to join this business through the registration pack, the company tools that you want to equip your people with, you mentioned training. And I don't see why all company owners are discounting the training that they need to provide to their people. They should be providing exceptional training. You're parting with this registration fee, and you're saying, train me, indoctrinate me on this business.
Yeah, the ding ding dings on my side, Kenzie, I think it's probably my husband's Facebook, and I'm just on his laptop during the day because he's out at work. And so if it keeps dinging, I might like close his Facebook, but we'll see. I don't want to touch his windows, but yeah, that's on my end.
Business. So, but a lot of company owners aren't providing enough training on how to present the products, how to operate within the space. We spoke about in one of the earlier episodes about inviting prospects to see the company tools and building a lead list. They should be providing all of that training to their people. So training is a very big part of what you should be providing through that registration pack.
Exactly.
Okay?
Kenzie, yeah, sorry. When you said ding, 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 I thought you were referring to the dinging on my computer. That's funny. That's funny timing for sure.
The challenge is that most company owners who get into the space, they're trying to do everything. They're trying to run the business, make sure the product's on the shelf, handle the logistics, handle the trading, handle recruiting, etc. And the problem is they don't have the bandwidth to do any of it properly. For a serious company going into the space, I would have a full-time trainer. That's what the guy does. He teaches the top leadership, and then he makes sure the top leadership is training their people.
Do you think that's why MLM CEOs don't want to provide actual standardized training? I feel like it's because the MLM business structure is genius for the CEOs because you have a volunteer sales force like Miss Jessie Lee Ward and Carl Deichler say, and you kind of like what's the word? You outsource your training to other unqualified salespeople who just happen to be at the top of the pyramid. So he's saying that MLM CEOs don't train because they just don't have time, but I think it's because they don't really care about training their people, because their people they are not, they are contractors. They're not actual employees of Beachbody/Body, right? And so Body is not actually, they're not actually liable for what their people say. And so, of course, why would Carl waste his time training his contracted employees? What do you think about that?
Because if you can have a top-down push where the training is of a very high level, then everybody learns the same way down the line. But if you have a look at what they just don't have the time. Most company owners, they don't have the time. They are crushed. They're working 18 hours a day. And if you slice their day up and see how many brain cycles they're giving to everything, by the time they get to training, they've got the sliver of time that they can do it with. And it's one of the reasons that we put the Ignition program together, is to try and take all of this stress off the company owner so that they can focus on their product and building their team,
Right.
rather than.
And of course, Netready has all the answers to for the overwhelmed, tired network marketing company owner. And we just need to hire Netready, and then we can find massive success with our own MLM company. Course. Kenzie said, yes, I was a corporate trainer for Panera. I hated not having a legit training for MLM. Yeah, like every company I've ever worked with, even my like summer day camp job, we had a whole week of training and we were paid for everything. Like we got paid a few days during that week. We got pizza for lunch. And I was a freaking kid. I was like 16, 17. And even I get paid for my time training. I got compensated for my time. But if you happen to be an MLM, you don't get paid for anything unless it's selling a product or someone joining your team.
All of these other things that come into play when they're trying to get their business off the ground.
Right.
And I mean, we've seen phenomenal results by providing, and a company can provide that themselves, but providing specialists in every single area to handle the different aspects of the business. You know, we've got one client who started at the beginning of the month, signed up how many, 2,500 people in their first month out the blocks.
That's amazing.
But it's because she doesn't have to worry about anything.
Sure.
She's got people in place. Okay, it's us, but it could easily be her own people in place, handling logistics, handling training, handling the software and the systems, handling the payments and the accounting or the commissions. She's got somebody doing all of that for her, so she can just focus on the things that are generating her money. Getting out there, signing up her people, implement the training that we've given her on her people, and getting them up and selling the product.
Right.
And so if you're starting a business in this space, one of the things you should have is people in place who can handle the training, who can handle the recruiting, who can handle all of that stuff. And in order to pay for those people, you need to have an income stream. So when somebody signs up, you charge them $100. You sign up 1,000 people, you've got $100,000. You can afford to run that infrastructure.
Sure.
And so
of course. So another reason just came out. We need to have registration packs that are pricey because we need to be able to pay our employees and pay the people who run our training, who run our recruiting and our product development. And we need to charge people who are financially vulnerable, who are really, really desperate for change, to join our company in the hopes of achieving some kind of financial dream. So we can not only pay our own salaries, but pay the salaries of our employees as well. What did Kenzie say? Yes, my first training was at 16 and got extra cash plus free hotel and food for training others. Ooh, cool. Even when I created new and better trainings, it was paid and used. Yeah, you should be getting paid for all your time. You should be compensated for your time. If you travel somewhere else for your training, like you just said, you should get your hotel, you should get your food, right? Like, but in MLM, that's not the case. And it's so weird. Live Panic just said, and how often do you see any training on how to run a business, keep a profit loss statement? These are all things I don't want downlines to even think about. Yeah, I feel like on my channel, my little baby channel, I've maybe the one actual tactical training on how to run a business was the business activity tracker training videos. I think that was like a 14 video series on a coach's YouTube channel. And I've seen Beachbody coaches talk about profit loss statement one time in one team call, it was a random team call, like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was a woman talking about how she got to diamond and was shocked and upset because her earnings were piddly. That's what she said. But these kinds of trainings, like you just said, Lift Panic, they're very, very uncommon, and it's very, very hard to find videos like that on YouTube or Instagram.
That's for me one of the key reasons of why you would want to charge a sign up or registration fee and provide them with those tools.
Okay, let's talk about the
Rich just said something. Of course, I lost my mouse. In their words, their MLM has zero operating budget without pre-sales. Oh, yeah. Like, we can't pay our people unless vulnerable people financially and mentally buy our registration packs. That should be a red flag. Where's your operating budget? You're right.
I brought that around.
That was so nice. Oh, boom.
So, where was I here? What was I talking about again? Oh, yes. Coming to land. Was almost a crash landing, but managed to bring it back.
When I imagine what's in your head, I ask a question to you, and I imagine all these file cabinets there, and it's just this MLM brain.
Well, I opened the wrong cabinet there for a while.
You're opening just there we are, and you pulled it out. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
The other company tools that we provide our people with, and we need this because you need something to market the business. You need something to have as a platform to advertise the products, to show descriptions and prices. So we provide people with a website. It's their own e-commerce platform.
Yes.
That's.
I thought we were talking about registration packs. Why are we now talking about Netready services? Obviously, this is an advertisement for Netready, but I feel like they should be less obvious about trying to appeal to MLM CEOs so explicitly and just focus on the registration packs, you know? I might be being too nitpicky though. Oh, at Lift Panic, this is why I didn't last long in MLM, because I automatically tracked that. Oh yeah, Kenzie, do you mean what Lift Panic just said about profit and loss statement and no trainings actually on how to run a business? I'm glad that you were able to recognize that, and that perhaps you saw it as a red flag and you're like, wait a second, this feels weird, and then you were able to leave. Hopefully that's what happened, but it's good that you recognized it. Oh, good point. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Rich had a good point about no operating budgets within MLMs without the registration pack sales.
It's their tool to market their business, but to manage their business, they also need a back office. And mostly it's an online back office. I know here at Netready we provide both websites and online back office to our distributors. But they're able to then see who's in their team. They're able to see the performance of their team so they can manage them correctly. They can see what commissions are owed to them. You can see marketing material that they can go out and market this business through social media platforms. All the training exists within their back office.
And Kenzie, you were able to get out of MLM relatively quickly also because you did not allow the training to indoctrinate you, like these friends just said. Apparently MLM training is indoctrination.
That back office is an important tool. And a proper back office is not a cheap exercise.
Sure.
If you go after a proper system that is going to run your business, they're very expensive. Mm-hmm. And again, you charge an administration fee, a monthly admin fee, so that you can cover the cost of having a real world-class system. Because there's some big companies who've got the kind of money that is needed to buy a proper enterprise level system, and that's great. But most companies don't have that kind of cash to lay out on a multi-million-dollar system.
Right.
And by doing an application fee and by getting involved with companies like Netready, whatever, it doesn't have to be Netready, you can then have a situation where the network pays for an enterprise level solution.
Mm-hmm.
So, Rich, not only do we not have any operating budget without these people buying registration packs, we also don't have a back office or a tracking system without these admin fees. And we know a lot of in Beachbody, it's like $15 or $16 a month. And in other places, it could be more, it could be less. I'd say it's between maybe like $10 and $30 a month. So we can't really, as an MLM CEO, we can't really pay for anything at all. Salaries, tracking systems, back offices without the hard-earned income of our distributors. So I missed a few comments here. The whole topic of training when it comes to MLMs is a complete and total joke. Yeah, I totally agree. Has anyone seen, what's her name? Recovering Hunbot on YouTube, when she used to run trainings for actual workplaces and she would talk about how much of a joke MLM training actually is? Kenzie says, exactly. That is why I'm so anti MLM now. I'm glad you found this little community and this kind of content on YouTube. It's very educational. It's very mind eye opening and mind opening, I guess, but that's not the saying.
As opposed to you physically having to pay for that out of your pocket.
Right.
And again, this is a business, Stuart. When you join an MLM company, understand you have a micro business. That's what it is. If you want to describe it, it's a micro business where you can buy product at a discount and sell that product, number one. And number two, where you can actually recruit salespeople to sell the product for you. So if you think of,
he's technically not lying. We are buying a product and we are selling a product. But what is dishonest about this is that yes, products are exchanging hands, products are being delivered to people, but it's most likely within our own downline ourselves. I think this was a CC Suarez video from a long time ago, but she saw Eric Worre say, products are sold to people within your organization. And that's technically true because in Beachbody, we get personal volume points whenever members of our downline purchase anything. And I feel like those would technically count as sales, which is why I always question how much true customer sales actually go on in an MLM. And I don't mean Beachbody coaches purchasing their personal volume requirements. Kenzie says, honestly, this is super important info. Yeah, and the reason why I started talking about this like last December now is just because I was like fascinated by all these YouTube channels and I just wanted to talk about it on the internet. And it's really, yeah, this kind of information is really important because it helps people recognize what these scams actually look like and helps people just be better educated in a world with thousands of MLMs all over the place. Because we all would have been really perfect MLM victims at some point in our life because of financial aspects, because of our age, because of like a mental health struggle. And it's just so important for everyone to be aware of these scams.
Your business as a micro business where I'm going to sell product, trade, and I'm going to get a sales team together who will sell the product for me. I mean, that is like if you describe almost any business on the planet, that is, it's encapsulated in that concept where you're running a shop selling cell phones. You buy the product, you have the product available, you can sell it yourself personally from behind the counter, but you can employ some salespeople to sell it for you.
Sure.
When they sell it, they're going to make them some money. When you sell it, you're going to make some money, but you make money on what they sell because your business. Okay? So the same thing is applied.
Kind of, sir, but if you own a cell phone business and your salespeople are selling, you're probably paying them for their time, at least a little bit. You're probably giving them some benefits. You're probably allowing them to have a work-life balance. You're allowing them to, like have time off and truly shut off from work and not have to worry about work. And they're probably also getting commissions. And their income is not based on going out and finding other cell phone salespeople to also sell cell phones and recruit other cell phone salespeople. I find it so comical when these people make analogies like this where it really has nothing to do with it because there's no recruitment in a cell phone sales business, but of course, they're just focusing on the sales aspect of MLM. And then when we hear the arguments of MLM is just like affiliate marketing, those arguments are focusing just on the connecting with your social media network aspect of MLM. We all would have been perfect MLM victims at some point. Oh my God, I want to cry because that is so well said. Oh, I'm glad I said that well. We all would have been. Like, I would have been a perfect victim, definitely like right after grad school and right when I moved to this city because I knew no one and I was in a different part of the country, right? Like completely by myself. We all would have been perfect victims at some point. And even 5-6 years ago when I moved to this city, I was an adult then, and I didn't know what MLMs were, and I could have definitely fell prey to it. I can't speak today, but I think you know what I mean.
right here. That's another reason why you want people to actually pay for it, because they're buying a business. And going back to what you're saying, you then provide them with all of those tools, that back office system, etc., and you are able to fund a proper back office system by selling them the starter kit, so to say. So you're funding your training, the admin fee, which is your monthly ongoing fee, and it doesn't have to be a lot, eh? Because if you've got 100,000 people in your team, which is doable, and you're just charging them, say, 50 Rand a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, peanut money. You can do your own calculations. I'm not going to do it right now, but it's a big.
In what world is that peanut money, sir? Especially if these people purchased a fancy starter pack from you and then they're also buying personal volume requirements. Like, how is that peanut money? And why can't your business pay for anything without the income of hardworking and potentially vulnerable people? So why can't your business sustain itself without that financial capital?
Monthly amount that can run your entire business. Oops, sorry about that. That can run your entire business end to end.
Yeah.
And that's what is exciting about selling the kit and getting an admin fee, because your business is now stable. It's rock solid. And every networker needs to understand this is a real business. There is some overhead, even if it's just $10 a month for that overhead. But you are running it in cooperation with everybody else. So you, as an independent MLMer, a network marketer, you have access to a world-class enterprise level system on which you run your business. And it makes.
So there's the argument of, I can't believe I can run a business with $10 a month in overhead. Oh, I used to run a yoga studio and my overhead every month was $12,000. That would be a good argument if you were actually a business owner in an MLM and you were not just a contracted salesperson. We are literally paying these companies in order to have access to training that we should have access to for free, to get access to products and materials that we need to do our job that in any other industry we would have access to for free.
Maybe cost you $10 a month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
crazy.
And you don't have to. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. Let's put it into a different way, different perspective. If Cameron goes out and makes a movie called Titanic, and the only person who ever viewed that movie was you, how much would it cost you to view that movie?
Same months.
Hundreds of millions of dollars, because you are the only client.
Right.
So if he went and made that movie just for you, you were his only client, would cost you hundreds of millions of dollars. I think it cost him something like $100 million to make that movie. Whatever. It was one of the most expensive movies ever made at the time. I can't remember what the number is. Obviously, you are not the only customer. There's millions and millions and millions of people around the world who want to watch that movie. And so as a result, you're paying $10 or $15 to go and watch that movie.
Right.
So
is he saying that Titanic was funded by the ticket sales that didn't occur at that point when this person was making Titanic? Is that what he means? Because unlike with an MLM, ticket sales for a movie do not go towards funding said movie. Movie producers, movie companies have budgets to make their movies without ticket sales. Is that what he's saying? Maybe if I might be misunderstanding it, but if you think I am, let me know down below. What did Brandon just say? That's just a confusing analogy from that dude, right? I was also confused. I was listening to that. Like, what's his point here? What's his point? Because he's trying to normalize MLMs not having any budget at all without distributors paying into the system. He's trying to make it seem normal, but it's not normal.
It's that economy of scale that kicks in that allows a guy like Cameron to produce the most epic system, epic movie, and for you to go and witness that movie for a paltry $15. I mean, it's ridiculous how cheap it is to go and witness it. They use the best people in the world. They use the best cameras in the world. They use the best lighting. They have an army who build the sets and who do everything related to making that movie, and it costs you $15 to go and see it. Now, the same thing applies within the MLM space. if you were the only person who went out and set that system up to run your business, it would be unaffordable.
Right.
But if you're one of 100,000 people, each spending $10, suddenly that system becomes absolutely awesome.
Wow. That's very well put, Richard.
Okay.
Let's talk about the products. And
That's not well put, Richard, because that doesn't make any sense. Just like Brandon just said, that makes no sense. My salary that I used to pay for my movie ticket to go watch Titanic, not paying the actors, not paying the director, that comparison is useless and doesn't make sense.
So a number of packages, starter packs that company owners provide have products in them, and there's reasons why we put products into the starter kits. And for me, some of the main reasons, what I'll actually identify too, is the first thing is that I can get my starter kit and I can then receive those products. And for me, I need to lock in my belief. I need to know that this is a great company with incredible products. So I can try those products out. I can speak to a couple of people within my circle, my network, about those products and see what they feel as well. Okay? So that I lock in that belief.
Exactly.
I know in my head that it's the right product. And as I start using it, it's the belief
you see
locks
how
into
many
my heart.
issues.
Why do we need to lock in our belief about products? I feel like for the jobs I've had before, I am not madly in love with my company. I am not locking in my belief about the brilliance of my company. I think the places where I've worked so far, I've thought that it was a valuable place to work and that my company provided a valuable service, but I did not necessarily think those services were brilliant and life-changing. But in an MLM, you have to have the belief that the products are life-changing and that nothing else exists like it, and that the company and the business opportunity is also life-changing and innovative. What's most toxic is how he's making this business model sound so logical and so much of a win-win for all parties. Yeah, that's a great point, because when people are so like apparently likable and down to earth and calm, and they're just teaching us, right? Like they're just teaching us things. They're not yelling at us like Ray Higdon does. It makes it seem more reasonable, right? Like it makes it seem like this business model is just a normal business model that you see all the time, and that, of course, as an MLM CEO or as a distributor, you can find success in this business model. That's a great point.
You see how many issues that selling the starter kit to the client makes.
Right.
And we've done it ourselves.
Yeah.
We've taken a project that we had where we were selling for, I think it was 900 rands, 950 rands for the kit.
Right.
And then we start selling it for 100 rands.
Yeah.
Made no difference.
No difference. No.
But what happened is that we have no belief.
Right.
So the people who are coming in at the 100 rand, they don't believe in the business anymore.
Because they never experienced a product at all.
Exactly. They haven't experienced the product. They don't put any value in it. This is a cheap throwaway story. You know, whether I do it or not makes no difference. And so
we need to be able to use the products in order to have belief in the company and the opportunity. But how come we hear about distributors who sign up to be distributors before they even get their starter kit? And we've heard people say, like, I didn't even know what Arbonne was. I've never used the products, but I just thought it'd be an amazing, life-changing business opportunity. So that's interesting how what he just said contradicts what a lot of distributors say.
We'll end up with a very low commitment level. So across the board, all of the things that you said here is
So the first thing is to lock in the belief personally, so that I can go out and sell a product. If I don't believe in the product I'm selling to people, well, I'm a con artist, right?
Exactly.
The next thing is that
you are a con artist because you are teaching MLM CEOs to also be con artists and to profit off of the financial loss and stress of thousands and thousands and thousands of people. Now, sir, I'm not calling you a con artist specifically. I just think you are behaving right now in a dishonest manner, and you know the statistics of MLM companies. You know that the vast majority of people in these companies that you're trying to help establish are not making any money.
I can utilize those products that have been given to me through the starter pack, and I can go out into the market and I can identify which customers like which products, so that I know in the future I can buy in bulk. Absolutely. And I know those are the customers that like X product, and those are the customers that like Y products.
Or you can even sell it to them, get their money, and go and buy the product after the fact. You don't even need to have the capital.
No risk.
Yeah, no risk.
Sure.
Excuse me, MLMs are extremely risky, sir. Just because $100 for some people isn't a lot doesn't mean it's not potentially life-changing for others. And for some people, losing $100 is a huge deal and means they can't feed their families and they can't put food on their tables. And he was saying if you identify people who like your products, then you can go and buy in bulk so you can sell back to them. That's another thing they're not really talking about is some MLMs do require you to have inventory and then you sell off that inventory to your customers. Gary says these guys are hucksters. What's a huckster? Like on late night cable infomercials. I don't know what a huckster is, but I feel like it's probably a bad thing, right? We're almost done. Thank you for sticking around.
So those are the two main reasons why you want to put products into your starter pack.
Yes.
You want to lock in the belief, and you want your people to go out there and identify who their customers, which customers like which products.
Yeah.
So love that, and we definitely guide our company owners out there. Put product into those registrations.
And then charge an admin fee. Even if it's a small admin fee, you've got people committed ongoing to that process.
Right.
And then if they don't pay the admin fee, that's fantastic. They become customers.
Sure.
So they can decide they don't want to pay the admin fee anymore. That's fine. They become customers on your system.
Yeah. Even 10,000 people spending $10 admin fee, that's $100,000
a month.
A month. That's coming into running the business, all the operational aspects.
Precisely.
I don't know about you, but I do not have to pay my company any kind of money per month in order for them to be able to pay their people, run their business, pay the rent for the building or the mortgage. I've never heard of that in any industry except for this guy, and this guy teaching us that MLMs cannot run without the hard-earned income of its distributors.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was awesome.
That was great. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Awesome. Guys out there, thank you so much for your time dedicated to us here at Netready and MLM for CEOs. It's a pleasure having you here. Please go onto our YouTube channel, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell for notifications so you can see all the content that's uploaded live. We'd love to have you there experiencing all that. I hope that we provided you with key insights into this industry. It's an incredible industry. It's so lucrative. It's an amazing route to market. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for your time. Cheers.
I was about to be like, how dare he say it's lucrative? And then I remembered, oh yeah, he's talking to MLM CEOs, not distributors. And he's right. If you are an MLM CEO and you make your own company, yeah, it is very lucrative for you because you have thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of salespeople who you don't really have to pay. You only pay a small portion. You don't have to pay for pensions. You don't have to pay benefits. You don't have to do RRSPs or whatever. And these people not only volunteer for you, but they pay you in order to volunteer. And you're only paying a tiny, tiny portion of your people who are at the very, very top of the pyramid. So that was a really interesting conversation. I love the Netready channel. I encourage all of you guys to check them out. It's just Netready, one word, on YouTube. And yeah, I subscribed a little while ago just so I could keep track of the content and then see if I want to do any of their videos for a live stream. So thank you, Rich. Thank you, Kenzie. Thank you, Lift Panic. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Brandon. I think I got everyone. Thank you for you guys who watch this live and who left comments. And thank you to anyone else who will watch it later. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll be back streaming something, I don't know what, tomorrow at approximately 2:30. So if you're able to catch it live, I would love to have you. If not, you can catch the replay if you'd like. So that's all I have for today, and I hope you liked it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye!